Okay, just think like, what did you really get out of this situation to let a man smile for free and think that he is the sun that your world revolves around? No. When you go out in Shanghai, is there foreigners there? Yeah, there's sometimes foreigners. What I'm reading right now, okay. I'm reading this, I think it's like an ebook, but I've read it before, but I'm revisiting for research purposes. So it's called Date Like a Spartan, and it's by Lambert. This book is actually Shera 7's source material. Well, this author, what he's written is Shera 7's source material. Just finished Sirens on Netflix, if so you have. Any other recommendations? I haven't watched any TV shows. I'm not really into TV and movies. I kind of like dip in and out accordingly, and I don't really have any like strategy when it comes to how I watch shows and movies. What media do you consume or hobbies? Looking for inspiration. Oh, I'm watching The Century of the Self by Adam Curtis. It's on YouTube, and it's like a documentary series, but on YouTube it's posted as one long 3-hour video. Very iconic. I'm rewatching it as well. It talks about how psychoanalysis was like co-opted in the US to basically try to control the population, and how like the origin of modern marketing basically explains like the structures that exist in our society today, and how, and like our relationship with consumption. So highly recommend that. Where am I up to? I was literally like working out this morning and watching it at the same time. By working out, I mean I did like a 15-minute video. I'm 2 hours and 37 minutes out of 3 hours and 54 minutes. And also I've been watching a lot of Professor Jiang's lectures on YouTube. I don't know if you're on the same algorithm as me, but I watched one of his videos a few weeks ago. He had like 30,000 YouTube subscribers, and then he blew up, and I think like less than a month later he has over 400,000 subscribers now. So he is talking about like the history of civilization, and I think there are a lot of parallels in the way that he analyzes history with the way that I try to analyze like human relationships and dynamics. There's always more than just the facts, I think, you know? So I really appreciate his work, especially because he's like a proper, I mean, he doesn't consider himself a scholar, but he's obviously very well read and very well educated. So the documentary is called Century of the Self. The Century of the Self. Let me type it. And it's called Predictive History on YouTube. Do you miss Australia or never? I miss Australia in the summer in Shanghai when it's hot as fuck and I can't go to the beach. But I'm going to Okinawa next month, so maybe that can be my future beach getaway when I can't go to the beach in Shanghai. I want to find somewhere that I just go to when I want to go to the ocean, you know, and it just becomes like the place that I go. So that's when I miss Australia. And I miss my friends when they're going through like really big life things and I can't like be there. My friend's gonna have a baby soon. I can't be there, but I'll be there after it's born, when it's winter in China and then it's summer in Australia. That kind of works out really well for me, you know, because it's kind of dead here in the winter. You remind me of the color pastel pink. Oh my god, that's so cute. Thank you. That's my favorite color. What a compliment. Oh my god, that's the nicest thing someone's ever said to me. Book recs. No Logo by Naomi Klein. The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. That's the one that's most aligned with my content. You should do DJ remixes on TikTok that go viral when they mix songs, like the Weeknd and Avicii one is so good. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been doing content for so long and I've been DJing for even longer, but I haven't really mixed the two together. So I'll think about it, but I feel like that would just overcomplicate everything so much. And it would make me look like I just started DJing when I've actually been DJing way longer than I've been content creating. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't even know, like, if it would help me with my career if I posted more DJ content, like if that's the one that I want to do. Post more DJ content. I love your brain. Thank you, babe. You did one video of it I just watched with the Don Toliver song. Girl, come on, of course it would help. Yeah, but I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about how I want to DJ moving forward because my favorite club in Shanghai is closing, and this year I haven't been DJing in the club as much. But if people want to give me money to DJ from home, that could be a vibe. Okay, so next time I stream, I'm gonna have 2 phones and I'm gonna stream on Chinese TikTok and TikTok at the same time and see what happens. What made you move to China? I was bored in Australia. Is dating men in Australia also a disaster like in the US? Yeah, I heard it is. If anything, it's more because the dating culture is even more casual than the US. Like, you won't even necessarily get a free meal out of it. You get a free coffee. Hi, babe. How are we? What's the tea? I haven't streamed, or I haven't gone live, I think since I was at the airport a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And I was talking about how I was going to post that live, but the sound quality was too bad. Can you please give me some tough love and tell me to get the fuck up and clean my apartment? A clean space is the foundation of a clean mind, you know? I also need to clean my apartment and I'm going to schedule it right now for this Sunday. Did I even do anything today? Actually, wait, I did film. I'm doing this new thing where I like go into my calendar and record what I did. Free habit tracker printout available on my website, friendcrush.club. Finishing school soon, have to start posting myself. Advice of fear of being perceived. Just go for it. Anybody that is like doing well at content creation has at some point posted something that they thought was cringe, you know? Or that someone else thought was cringe. People that are secure in themselves will just swipe on something that they don't relate to. People that are not secure with themselves will engage and give you free engagement. So as long as you're just like being mindful and safe, you don't really have much to lose. And I think like when your mindset is about what you can offer an audience and not just what you can receive from an audience, that also changes the way that you post and the way that you take feedback, you know? Because if one person benefits from something that I posted, then I've achieved something. So 500 people could hate it and I'd be like, well, whatever. One person sent me a really nice message about how I totally changed their perspective on something. And that means more to me than 500 people hating me. As fucked up as it is, that's actually the mindset that every creator has, regardless of whether you agree with what they say or not, or whether what they share is like morally okay or not. That is the mindset required to be online and to expose yourself to audience, you know? That's why don't engage with anything that you don't relate to or that you don't approve of. Hi babe, how are we? Do you ever think about people from your past watching and judging you? Not really. I hope they're enjoying, if they are. I don't think you guys understand. I was like literally made fun of for like every single part of my personality from a young age. So I don't really give a fuck. Like, I do sometimes think about it, but like not in a way that has been more detrimental than not. And also now I kind of get paid for like all the things that I used to get made fun of. So jokes on them. Hello queens, how are we? We're slaying through a summer break with nothing to do. How about you? Okay, I love that. Enjoy your time off. I'm going through a flop era right now. I've had these pimples on the side of my face for like weeks, and it's, oh my god, making me depressed. I also have PMS right now, so like I'm hungry all the time and I can't stop eating. Mentaiko udon, yummy! And it's also like this period of the year in the Chinese calendar, which is like meant to be like the hottest time of summer, and it's a really good time to do like Chinese medicine treatments. So I'm currently doing moxibustion treatment to like cleanse my soul, and I do like, I think you do 3 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on. So I just did 3 days, and then this is my 3rd day off, and then I start again tomorrow. 3 days in a row of treatment. In total, I think I'm going to do like 10 treatments, and I'm hoping that I'm reborn at the end of it. Thank you so much. That's great advice. You're very welcome. Hey girl, can I vent for a second, please? Go ahead. Crazy. Trying to cleanse my soul too, right? I feel like this summer is like not as chaotic as last year's summer. So this is like a chill summer relative to Brad's summer. But yeah, I think like I always try to focus on moving forward and growing and learning. So I don't spend too much time stalking the lives of people who aren't in my life anymore. And I think if you're in that habit of stalking other people, then that's why you might think a lot about other people stalking you. But if you don't spend time stalking other people and just focusing on exposing yourself to content that is inspiring or at least entertaining, then you just won't care so much if other people are stalking you, you know? I gave a friend my air fryer to lend for over a month's time because she was on a budget and had no oven. It was a whole issue getting the air fryer at her place, but anyway, now she's moving again. She's trying to take the air fryer with her. I'm trying to come out of a flop era of depression. It's been the hardest yet. Oh, sending love and slay your way, babe. I was going to pick up. Traveled there 1 hour there and 1 hour back with public transport until I heard that her friend is helping her move by car. So I asked, can she pass by me, quickly drop it off? It's 15 minutes away. She said she didn't feel comfortable. What the hell? Amber, thank you for your advice earlier. You're welcome. What advice did I give you? I've got so many messages today. I can't keep up. She didn't feel comfortable asking me because the friend has an important date with her boyfriend. What the fuck? Didn't want to mess up her time schedule. I get it, but it's literally 15 minutes. Oh, the housemate one. Yeah. Okay. So I couldn't articulate in text exactly what you need to do or what I would do in this situation, but I would focus on doing activities outside of the house. So when I come home, I'm like happy, excited, slaying, or too tired that I just like pass out. Hang out with the girls, invite them to stuff, whatever. The guy can come too if he wants, but literally get out of in your feelings mode and into friendly acquaintance mode, you know? Oh, how's it going? Small talk, whatever. And maybe he'll confess his love for you before he leaves. Maybe he won't. It doesn't matter, he's leaving anyway. Enjoy your time in the house. You won't live there forever. Yeah, it's gonna be okay, babe. Don't worry about it. I understand the emotional confusion of it all, but from where I'm standing, you are gonna be okay, you know? Don't let men see you sweat, okay? Just think like, what did you really get out of this situation to let a man smile for free and think that he is the sun that your world revolves around? No. Now she's saying she has to check if she can pay for the drop and go. It's €4 or €9 depending on the size of the bag. I told her I'd split it. I feel like she's baiting me, traveling her to get. Oh my god. Girl! Thank you, big sis. I just want to be chill, and they say women are dramatic. Men are so annoying, but yeah. Prove them wrong. You know, if women could all just embody acting unbothered in a way that's like truly integrated with like emotional processing, we would rule the world, you know, because men act unbothered without processing their emotions, and then they blow up at a later date and everybody just thinks that's okay. But imagine you are unbothered and you stay unbothered. Nothing stresses people out more than that. I feel so disappointed. I literally asked a guy I was only talking to a week to drop the airfryer at a housemate, then she can't even ask her friend. Honestly, if I was in your situation, I would just get the air fryer and then distance myself from these so-called friends, because what the hell, like, regardless of whether she's intentionally being stingy, it just seems like your values aren't really as aligned as you thought, because that, like, asymmetry in willingness to like put in effort, especially when they borrowed something from you, is just like so not it, you know. I already knew this, TBH. We already had distance. We're only talking now because of this air fryer. So annoying. I would just be like, you know what, keep the air fryer and then buy a new one. Fuck that. I don't even want the air fryer. Who knows what she's done to it. Like, with the time and distance and the emotional effort it would take you to get this air fryer back, you literally may as well just buy a new one and then like have your space cleansed. Should I speak my mind about how this makes me feel? Personally, if there's already distance in the friendship, I wouldn't bother. Like, I only believe in having difficult conversations when you want to progress something forward. And most of the time, when it's like such a clear imbalance, asymmetry in values, it's like a conversation isn't going to overcome that, you know? That's my opinion. Maybe that's avoidant of me, maybe that's toxic of me. But I don't give a fuck, because I've never regretted cutting someone off. Though to keep the air fryer, she values more than friendship. Exactly. Have you ever worked a 9 to 5? I used to work at a creative agency in Shanghai when I first moved here. I think I was there end of 2017. I did like a 1 month trial. And then I worked there 2018 until like March, April 2019. And then I started doing full-time freelance. And then end of 2019, beginning 2020, I got stuck in Australia for the pandemic. Fuck my life. And now I'm like full-time freelance. When I was doing 9 to 5 and I transitioned to full-time freelance the first time, I was living in like a family relative's apartment. So not having the pressure of having to pay rent is like a huge thing that a lot of people tend to glaze over. So that's important context. How's your day? I've been binge watching your videos after the situation, so it's a win. My day was pretty good. This morning, I just have to say, I did 15 minutes of cardio and I feel like a new person. Unfortunately, it does work. It's more effective than a coffee. I've been feeling really lethargic for the past few weeks and that really helped. And I caught up with a friend who just came to Shanghai a few weeks ago. She's kind of figuring out what she wants to do here. Then I went to the mall and I got a new perfume using the voucher that I have. Then I went to a different mall and I bought my mum a skirt. And I was thinking about buying myself a pair of sunglasses and also another perfume, but I decided not to. But then I decided that I'm gonna go back and buy the sunglasses and the perfume because I deserve it. I've been working hard. I'm gonna start to use air fry metaphorically for something causing a wedge. I love that. I would love your thoughts on young women and affairs, Shera 7 advice, etc. Okay, let me think. Are you an earth sign? No, I'm a fire sign. I agree with you, TBH. You know what? Fuck the air fryer. Fuck those people. Just be like, you know what? I'm actually really busy. I've got to go. Insert very cool, exciting event or people that you're going to hang out with that these people aren't invited to attend. I'll talk to you about the air fryer another time. Don't even say keep the air fryer. Just be like, it's okay. Let's just organize this another time. And then never speak again. Buy a new air fryer and then post pictures of it on your Instagram story. What fragrances do you like? Okay. The one that I tried today is chamomile vanilla. So the one that I replenished is kind of like a peachy, fruity scent. And then I also just repurchased Prada Candy Gloss, which is like cherry, very tart scent. I actually like all different kinds of scents, and then sometimes I kind of mix them together like a psycho. But now I'm looking for like a vanilla-y, more like earthy, sweet scent, which is why I'm leaning towards this chamomile vanilla. Thank you for reminding me. I also tried this like basil scent, but I think it's a bit too grassy. Okay, so young women and affairs. Oh my God, also, hi Mary, thank you for joining today. How's the baby? Please tell us. And also, how are you, obviously. Shera 7's advice is financial advice. It is not love advice, okay? And she says so herself. She does not care about love. She doesn't care about your emotional connection to a man. She only cares about how you can get money from them. And I think that that kind of approach to dating or like finances is very specific, and not all women are built for it, okay? Like, I'm not built for that kind of dating. I actually like hate talking to men that I don't want to talk to, and it doesn't actually matter how much money you could give me. If you can't give me the money like straight away, I don't even want to like dive in a little bit deeper, because I would rather do literally anything else with my time, you know? But some women are built different, and they have like an innate talent and ability to be able to squeeze money out of men. So that advice only sharpens that skill for those women, I think. And for all other women, I think it's still worth watching her content because there's still value to it, in understanding that perspective and the way that men think. But it doesn't mean that you actually have to go out and do that. You know, I think getting a job is more important. And her advice is actually more for older women, like women in their 30s and 40s looking to get money out of men in their 60s and 70s, okay? Not for women in their 20s looking to get money out of men in their 30s, okay? That's not what she talks about. She says it herself, but a lot of her content is taken out of context, and women in their 20s that are looking for love think that they can apply Shera 7 advice to their life. No. How to have fun dating without losing your mind. Don't date. She turned 1 this week. I'm so emotional planning her B-Day barbecue. Oh my God. Happy birthday! Slay. I love that. I think I have like 2 friends in Australia that are pregnant right now. I'm so excited for them. The only way to have fun dating without losing your mind, in my opinion, is to not focus on dating. If you want to date and have fun without losing your mind, you literally have to cut men off at the first red flag. So like based on the book that I'm reading, it talks about how a lot of women actually just enjoy being heard when they're on dates with men. So men know how to sit back and let a woman talk about themselves, and then the man just agrees with the woman, and then the woman thinks that she's connecting with the man, but all she's really doing is reconnecting with herself and her own story. But then that's misconstrued as connection to the man, and then the man uses this to form a closer bond with her and escalate physical intimacy. So what you need to do as a woman is to turn it back on the man and know how to ask a man questions and get him yapping so you can vet him. So if I was going to date, hypothetically, I would treat it like a research experiment and not like I was looking for love. What do you think of men who go for younger women? My mother-in-law, 53, is dating a 39-year-old man whose visa is ending and they might get married. Very big controversy in the family right now. Wow. Men who go for older women. Pull some tea out of him about himself, yes. Men who go for older women. Mother-in-law is dating a 39-year-old man whose visa is... Oh, okay. So the family thinks that the man is using your mother-in-law to get a visa. Okay, so what's the mother-in-law's response to this feedback? Maybe she is happy to extend charity to the man. I think as long as she protects her financial assets, YOLO, and be prepared for the man to maybe disappoint her and leave once he gets his visa. But we're not sure that prenups are a thing in Australia. I'm pretty sure they are. You can definitely have some kind of legal agreement to protect your assets before getting married. When are they going to get married? I also dislike men Work mainly with women. How do you advise meeting a man for a relationship? I don't advise meeting men. Not sure, I'll just wait and see, lol. Okay, keep us posted, girl. I'm gonna Google for you right now. Prenups in Australia. Like, I Googled today just to make sure that in America, you don't have to pay legal fees for the other party, whether you win or lose, but in Australia and in Germany, you have to. In Australia, prenups are legally known as binding financial agreements. They are legally binding contracts under the Family Law Act in 1975 that outline how assets, debts, and financial matters will be handled in the event of a relationship breakdown, including marriage and de facto relationships. These agreements can cover pre-existing assets, future inheritances, superannuation, businesses, and more, and are entered into voluntarily by both parties, requiring full financial disclosure and independent legal advice for each person. Okay, this is like the Google AI summary, so obviously do your own legal research as well. If a couple with an overseas prenuptial agreement moves to Australia, it is advisable to have an Australian solicitor draft a mirror agreement to ensure its enforceability under Australian law. Is it worth getting a prenup in Australia? We recommend couples consider a prenup if both parties have individual financial assets before becoming official partners, or if one or both parties are expecting a large inheritance in the future. If you don't own any businesses, property, inheritance, or similar, a prenup may not be necessary. Yeah, so meeting men for a relationship, I don't really have any advice on. I enjoy like meeting men in general, just to like kiki. But I wouldn't say that I'm trying to be in a relationship with any of the men that I meet. And if I was going to be in a relationship with any of them, they would really have to work for it to convince me that being with them would be better than being single. My partner told me that the uncle said this dude is a player and has been trying to get married. Right. But I would love to know how the mother-in-law feels. You know, like maybe she just wants company. Like, is she divorced or widowed, or like what's the tea there? Do you like Shanghai or Perth better? Obviously Shanghai right now. I still love Perth. It holds a very special place in my heart. We've had a very tumultuous relationship, you know, one that could be described akin to love-hate. But yeah, I love living in Shanghai. It's like, I don't know, I just love living here. And I hope that everybody gets to have this feeling in life, to live in a place that is like conducive to your personality and to your needs. That's the dream, guys. It's not about finding the best place objectively, it's about finding the best place for you. And that best place is going to be different for everyone. Oh my god, Diva, how are you, girl? Heavy on the kiki. Let's spill the tea, that's it. Yes. Who's got tea? Do you think ex-players are trustworthy? No. Well, the thing is, it's like, why are they ex-players? What is the reason that they stopped playing? Because they had a come to Jesus moment and found value in themselves and the world and their relationships outside of being a player? Or are they retired because they aged out, you know, or they were no longer competitive in the game? I think the reason why someone retires from being a playboy is very important, you know, and it's about like figuring out what that is. So I think that for some guys that I have met or that I've spoken to, building a legacy and their business sort of like reputation becomes more important than just being a player, because they realize that fucking around with women is a distraction from being able to get your money up. So getting their money up is more important, so they stop playing. In that case, it's possible that they are slightly more trustworthy than a man who just stops playing because he runs out of steam, because he's fished the pond dry and can't find another pond and has nothing else that he's redirecting his time and energy to, you know what I mean? Have you been to Berlin before? I actually have not been to Berlin, which is surprising considering I've been a DJ for so long. But I prefer music to partying, so I think that's why Berlin doesn't appeal to me as much. Like I started DJing because I love music, not because I love to do drugs. She is divorced, says she can do whatever she wants even if it only lasts a little while. Okay, that's good. So she's pretty realistic. She's just doing it for the plot, which she can do at any age. That's her right. But make sure that she has her assets protected. I think that's just the main thing. Shanghai seems insane. I want to come to Shanghai. It's so fun. Hi girl, been following you for a while. I love your content. Thank you so much. Would you say that all men are players because their biological tendencies to spread their seed, as they love to say? I don't think all men. I think a lot of men value the illusion of options, okay? Because it feeds their ego and it gives them this sense of like hunt or whatever. But I don't think, like, I think it's a spectrum. Some men are more problematic than others. Some men really do just want like one partner at a time. Like they can't handle more than one partner at a time. And then there's some men who only have one option available at a time, you know? That doesn't mean that they wouldn't like more options, and if more options came along that they wouldn't entertain them, you know what I mean? So it depends. Hey girl, been loving your podcast on Spotify. Thanks heaps for the free therapy, hehhee, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Your skin is glowing, thank you. I think it's just oily. Oh my god, I have the most fucked pimple cluster here. I'm demanifesting. By the end of the month, it'll be gone. And I will be free, and I will be in Japan at the beach. Something that I've been trying to think about in terms of how to articulate for future content is like everything exists on a spectrum, okay? So when you ask a question like, is every man a player? The spectrum is, to what degree is a man a player? It exists on a spectrum. It's not that they all are or they all aren't. It's that the spectrum exists and different men sit at different places on a spectrum. And your job when it comes to being associated with men is figuring out where they sit on the spectrum and whether that is okay for you or not, you know, in whatever capacity. Tips for traveling to Shanghai. Depending on like what your vibe is, for me, Shanghai is very much like a shop, eat, and chill type of city. So the areas that I think are the most relevant would be like Xuhui, the former French concession area, and around Jiang Temple. That's where like a lot of the shopping food is. And then if you have time, do like a day trip to Suzhou or Hangzhou. Hangzhou is really beautiful. West Lake, Gorgina. I'm just a baddie looking for an iconic time. Yeah, come shop and eat. Is Japan really too humid this time of year? Yeah, I heard that it's pretty hot there right now. But I'm going in August, end of the month. So hopefully it's not as hot. Green flags in friendships. I think just like a willingness to have a good time together is important. Like everything else falls into place if that is like a core shared value. We both just want to have a good time and we're willing to like facilitate that for each other, you know? I think those are the friendships that I value the most. Like even if our interests don't perfectly align, it's like we're willing to explore each other's interests for the sake of our friendship and having a good time together, you know? So that's the green flag for me. I don't know, what are your green flags? I think also like for me, generosity is important, and also a level of just sort of like patience and not taking things too personally and not being too caught up in like small details. Oh my god, hi Kaya, how are you, babe? What's the most popular milk tea franchise in China / Shanghai? Molly tea is gaining popularity in Sydney. I don't know, there's like so many. And they're all here. Not all of them, there are some places, some other cities in China that have their own milk tea chains that haven't come to Shanghai yet. Molly tea is pretty good. They have that in Sydney already, that's crazy. Sydney's lucky because Molly tea is good. I like their like pistachio foam coconut milk something. Do they have that in the Sydney one? I like that. Is Shanghai spicy food? No. Shanghainese food is traditionally not spicy. It's more like on the sweeter side, but you can still get spicy food in Shanghai. I was there August last year. It was so hot, but not unbearable. Just a fan and an umbrella. Exactly. Is dating fun in Shanghai? I would have no idea on a personal level because I don't date here. for the people that I know that are dating, it doesn't seem that fun either. My fave thing about Japan, I don't really have any favorite things. Like for me, I honestly am like too lazy to do any long haul travel at the moment. I don't know why, like post-pandemic, I just don't want to be on a flight that's more than like 8 hours, and even 8 hours is pushing it. Like I'll do 8 hours just to go back to Australia, but I won't do 8 hours to like go to a foreign place. So for me, I feel like when I just want to get out of Shanghai, it's just so easy for me to go to Japan. I feel like going to Japan is like going down the street almost. So I just enjoy Japan because it's like familiar, but not too familiar. The quality of food and everything is as good as China. I find it more inconvenient than China, but it's okay because I'm never there for like a really long time. But yeah, I love eating. And I like shopping too. And I like my friends that I get to see when I'm there. Do people recognize you in public? Not really, because I mean, people recognize me for DJing when I'm in China more than they do for content creating, obviously. But it's not like I get stopped on the street or anything. It'll be something that's already adjacent to what I already do. Like I'm at an event and someone's like, oh my God. Or the other day I was at Pole and one of the new students was like, are you a DJ? I was like, yeah. I haven't tried, maybe next time I go. Oh my God, let me know your Molly Tea review. I want to know what having a great following has been like for you. You look very grounded. Thank you. I don't feel like, I think for me, my mental health has always been more important than like public profile in a way. So I have like a lot of boundaries around what I will and won't do or will and won't share for like internet fame, you know, because I'm already like in my 30s and I've seen the way that internet fame or like having a big public profile can affect your mental health, affect your public perception, affect your ability to like create. So I think yeah, I have like a lot of things that I just won't say, lines that I personally won't cross. And I think I also know, I'm like pretty well informed on how these platforms are like exploitative. So for me, it's also like, I'm not gonna like sacrifice my dignity for the tech overlords, you know? It's gotta be a win-win situation. And also because I have a following on TikTok, which is overseas, people in China don't see my English content for the most part. So yeah, I kind of am like pretty protected from that part of content creating in terms of like living in a city and like being recognized when you're out, kind of thing. In comparison to maybe like someone that lives in LA, I think like that's a totally different vibe, or like New York or London or whatever. So I don't even know like where my content is being pushed on TikTok a lot of the time because I also use a VPN. So I think like the reach of my content is like really random as well. But yeah, and I also think that the intention that I have behind the content I create is exploring how to be more grounded in myself and like what do I learn from that and how can I communicate that to other people. So it's like in my best interest and in the best interest of my content and my audience that I stay grounded and don't become like some psycho megalomaniac fame whore, you know? But you never know. Has dating always been bad or is it just our generation? I think dating has always been bad. I think relationships between men and women have, for the most part, always been problematic. It's just that before, you had to suck it up as a woman because you needed to get married to have somewhere to live. I think that sex work is only criminalized because if women could be paid, then nobody would be doing it for free. That's what I've been thinking about recently. But I also recommend reading the book Why Women Have Better Smecs Under Socialism. When women have societal structures in place that allow them equal access to opportunities, at least relative to men, or like more equitably, then relationships between men and women improve. Versus in capitalist patriarchal societies, smecs and access to smecs is purchased because women have no other cards to play. They have no other leverage other than their body. So that's why I think, especially in countries like the US, where patriarchal capitalism is really peaking, dating is getting so bad. Girl, have you ever been to New Zealand? I haven't, but I heard it's very beautiful and I hope to go one day. Okay, work. Going to Japan is giving going down the street. Yeah. Perfect timing. I just got to work. Oh my God. Hi, babe. Heard on the news people in Shanghai were being evacuated because of a typhoon. Yeah, that was yesterday. But most of the people that I know are all okay. We've definitely had worse, I think. Do you have a public red book? Yes, my red book, my xiaohongshu is more for DJing, but I'm trying to post more of my English content with Chinese subtitles on there. July is coming to an end. What were your July favorites? Okay, my July favorites. Moxibustion treatment, which is Chinese medicine treatment. I'm currently doing a few rounds of. I don't really have any. I didn't think about this. I bought these like secondhand Balenciaga neon ballet flats that are really cute. Other favorites are like 3/4 leggings to wear at home. Would you do brand deals, try to grow finances through content? Yeah, I think I want to obviously make money off of what I do because I've been doing it for a while, and I don't know, it takes up a lot of time and energy, and I like see the value that it brings people. So like if I can monetize it in some way, that would be nice. But I have monetized my YouTube. It's not like a crazy amount of money, but I'm proud of myself for managing that. And I have subscriber only podcasts on my Spotify and on Patreon too. But I'm still kind of figuring out like a healthy balance for me in terms of being able to create content on a regular basis and still do all the things I want to do in my other jobs / career, and maybe like how these things can integrate in some way. And I'm also working on the next season of the podcast, which I'm also figuring out in terms of like, will it be just audio on Spotify? Will it be video and audio? Do I want to pre-record everything and release it week by week? Or do I want to maybe do half of it first and then adjust the second half according to audience feedback? Let me know. Any thoughts you have, any suggestions. If you want to work together, let me know also. Watching from Denmark. Hi, babe. If you don't have VPN, would you not be able to use TikTok in China? Yeah, unless you have a foreign SIM, maybe, and you're willing to pay the data plan, but VPN is essential. Love this live, love getting to know you. Feels like a date. But it's more fun than with a man, exactly. Hi, babes. This is a great ambience. Love the new background. Thank you. Guys. Okay, firstly, I was going to work on this painting tonight, which I haven't. But I have a whiteboard. Okay, things are going to get very serious now that I have a whiteboard. I don't know how this is going to go, but be ready. My July favorites are the block button. Oh my God, love that. Who have you been blocking? Please share with the class. Maltesers, been loving them this month. Oh my God, I was going to buy Maltesers the other day at the grocery store. They had a little Australian flag on them to indicate they were imported. And then I bought this like 12 pack of like mini Japanese chocolates and I ate the whole bag in 2 days. Slay. Portion control. Obsessed but a bit pricey. Oh my God, they're expensive in Australia now too. you want to work together, please tell me what your experience is, what your rates are, and what your value add is. Pitch me. contact@amberkiller.com. Josie Moran body butter. I smell so good and glow and feel so soft. Cashmere and wool cardigans. Gorgeous. I love your YouTube videos. Thank you, babe. Who? I've been blocking men, girl. Who else? And then said man tried to try and work. It was a weird time. Ew. Oh my god. Yes. I've been unfollowing reply guys and just removing reply guys from my social media. It's been great. I hate a reply guy. I also love the name. Lol. Yeah, reply guys. So if you've been listening to my subscriber only podcast episodes, I talk about a conversation or a series of conversations I had recently with a guy. I wouldn't say he's like a friend, but like a friendly acquaintance, you know, like he's like, I think 40, has a kid and a wife, and he was visiting Shanghai, so we like hung out. And he is like very much a straight talker, okay? He just asks questions, wants an answer, gives you his thoughts. And he's doing pretty well for himself, like owns a bunch of businesses and stuff. Okay, yeah, this isn't like a problematic like married man coming after me, like we're literally just friends and we worked together before. But yeah, he was like grilling me about dating, like why are you dating, what's the tea, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, I'm not really dating, don't really have time, can't be bothered. But I did recently just like clear out a lot of guys that were just like replying to my stuff, and I realized that I didn't look forward to hearing from. It was just kind of like a temporary ego boost and not even like an enjoyable one. And he was like, yeah, that's smart because you don't want that energy around you. And I was like, yeah, I just want my relationships and my interactions with people to feel like mutual, like our investment to be equal, you know? Like you are as interested to talk to me as I am interested in speaking to you. And with reply guys, there is this asymmetry. Asymmetry is like my word of the month before the month ends. Asymmetrical levels of interest, you know? These men are more interested in you just acknowledging their existence than you are knowing anything about them or even like seeing them. I'm just not the type of person that can have any like unfulfilling connection or experience because it will just drain me, you know? Like some people are just built different, and I feel like their tolerance level or their indifference level to the world around them is like naturally much stronger. But I feel like I just can't do that, you know? Like I noticed recently how much lighter I feel now that I really feel like I don't have any toxic friends or friends that I'm just tolerating. And you don't realize like how much easier your life can be when you move that energy out of your life, you know? One annoying friend, one friend that you tolerate will actually indirectly sort of taint all of your other friendships, you know, whether you realize it or not. And only until you've cut that person out and you focus on the relationships that you actually enjoy and you're like mutually interested in, can you experience and start to appreciate that. So the Sagittarius is showing, babes. Lol, same here. Yeah, and I have a lot of Sagittarius placements as well, so I just can't fake it. I think pre-recording videos is smart if you have a clear vision for your content, right? I think a lot of like, the problem is that my thoughts are always changing. So if I pre-record stuff, sometimes by the time it is posted, I'm like, okay, but I also want to say X, Y, and Z, but I think I just have to be okay with like releasing it as it is and then following up in future content, because I think it still can add value with where it's at, even if it's not like a totally updated, up-to-date like a recall of where I'm at. What were you gonna paint? I was gonna paint orchids / still life, I think. I don't know. Then I thought about putting a person in it, but I don't know if I want a painting with a person in it in my house. Would you try thinner brows? Would slay. I think if they go any thinner, my forehead will look too huge. But big forehead means big wealth. Let's manifest together. How does one get to be as eloquent and articulate as you are? Wow, that means a lot, because I don't feel like I'm eloquent or articulate at all. I feel like I'm constantly trying to sort through my thoughts and articulate them. So I guess you just kind of have to practice. You just have to keep yapping, you know, keep writing, keep putting notes down, and reading. Those are my only thoughts. You just have to do it. Like, oh my God, when I see some of the videos that I made when I first started going viral on TikTok, like 4 years ago, my cadence is completely different. But at that time, people thought that I was eloquent. Even though now I look at those videos and I'm like, how the hell what is this? Huge forehead is hot. Thanks, babe. Advice for nervousness around being perceived / performing. Thanks, Queen. Okay. So I do have videos. I have a video on YouTube / podcast that talks about fear of being perceived. But I would just say that you're going to be perceived whether you like it or not, because you're a person. And you may as well be perceived for doing something that you enjoy, you know? So even though it can be cringe, even though it can be overwhelming, it's like, just focus on having a good time and having a sense of humor around what you're doing, and then it won't really matter. It's only as serious as you let yourself take it. I said before to someone else, like, if you are always judging other people, if when you look at other people's content, you're secretly judging them, then you need to rework that narrative in your head to something that's like, good for them. Isn't that nice? I don't really relate to that. I'm going to move on. Instead of like, oh my God, that's so cringe what that girl's doing, blah, 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 blah. Like, I know people that think like that about other people. They never have a following, okay? A lot of them would like a following, but they are never the people that have followings, because they are constantly judging other people. So they internalize that judgment to themselves when they post, or when they have the opportunity to post, or when they would like to post, and they never do, and they never build an audience because they're constantly judging other people. The people that I do know that tend to do better in terms of building the following, they don't take it too seriously. They have a sense of humor about it, or they have very clear goals that they want to achieve through posting, and anything that is not in line with those goals, they don't give a fuck about, okay? So the nervousness goes away with practice and with experience. The more you do it, the more confident you become, the more experience you have, the more you learn, the less you care. Think Rihanna, exactly. Do you like Denisha Carter? I do follow her. Haven't watched that much of her content recently. Her reposts are funny. I have a playlist on my page for all the books. Not all the books that I've read, but some of my book recommendations. Performing at pole dance thingy this weekend. I'm nervy, but that helps. Oh my God, that's so exciting. I've never done a pole dance performance before. I've only practiced in class. Do you want to have kids? I don't know. For me, I never had a very strong feeling towards wanting to have kids or not wanting to have kids. For me, I feel like if I have kids, I have kids. If I don't have kids, I won't have kids. Like, my approach to life is very much like, whatever happens, I'll just figure it out. Or like, whatever happens, it will happen. You know, I'm not like, I really want to have kids. Okay, no, this is what I said to my mom the other day. I was like, now that I'm like in my early 30s and I see my friends that are in all different stages of their life, like even if we're the same age, especially like some of the friends that I grew up with, so we're the same age. But one of my friends who is pregnant right now, she says that from when she was a child, she just always wanted to be a mother. And she was like, every decision that I have made in my life has been in service of me getting pregnant and having a baby. And becoming a mother and starting a family. That's all I've ever wanted. And she has moved back to our hometown in Australia, and she was like, Amber, do you think I would live here unless I wanted to start a family? I would not live in Perth unless I wanted to have a baby and have my family close by, because I want to be a mother. So when she said that, and then when I was thinking about that and I was talking to my mom, I was like, I just feel like if I was meant to have a baby right now, I would already have one. And when I think about what I wanted for myself when I was a kid, I was like, I just want to grow up and be paid to exist. I just want to grow up and make money doing things that I enjoy. And that's basically what I'm doing right now. So all of the decisions in my life have been in service of me creating a life where my work is essentially an extension of my hobbies. So whether I'm going to have a kid or not is kind of secondary to that. Like if I was meant to have a kid right now, I'd have one. I was definitely meant to just be paid to do the things that I enjoy, and that's what I do. People who jump into things don't think too much about perfection, and overthinkers don't start. Yeah. I thought a guy was asking Amber to have kids with him. You're literally my idol right now. Thank you for being you. You're a beacon, sis. Thank you, babes. I'm dead. It'd be really funny if it was, and I just gave him this answer about like all the decisions in my life have led to this point of you asking me this question and me saying, no, thanks. My big three: Sagittarius Sun, Pisces Moon, Leo Rising. Sometimes I don't think I want to be a mom, but I'd be a perfect dad. Break gender stereotypes, babe. I was finishing off my mentaiko udon. I also have a vegetable curry here. Pisces Moon makes so much sense. I'm an emo girl. I'm an emo girl trapped in a nonchalant body. Fave makeup brand. I don't have a favorite makeup brand. Okay, a July favorite, which is actually just a recycling of an old favorite, which is why my favorites are always like so lame, because I'm like, and I just started re-liking this other thing. Hourglass foundation, the stick one, okay? Because I saw this TikTok video about how the stick and the concealer are very similar formulas. You don't want to buy the liquid foundation because it's just watered down and the cost is like not efficient. And I was like, that's so true. So I whipped out my old Hourglass stick foundation. It's pretty good, guys, I'm not gonna lie. So I've been using my NARS concealer with that foundation, and because it's a stick, you can just like swipe it on and do like light coverage if you're doing it for the day, and then build up the coverage if you're doing it for evening or glam. I think it would be good for dry skin. If you applied like a hydrating primer, I think it could work. But I've never had dry skin before. My skin's always been oily. My baby will be a Pisces. Any tips how you guys raised in the least traumatic way? Okay, well, I'm a Pisces moon, which is very different to a Pisces, I think. I feel like, based on the Pisces that I have met in my life, I actually don't think I get along with Pisces that well. Just like my moon sign and their sun sign. Like when the Pisces sun that I know, I don't really get along with that well, I feel. But I think that the issue that a lot of Pisces have is that they repress their feelings. They don't really learn how to take responsibility for how they feel, which I think is a skill that I would encourage you to instill in your child. If they are a Pisces. I'm a Pisces and I don't repress. Okay, that's good. But that's what a Pisces would say, you know? I'm a Gemini, so I don't do feelings too. My mother-in-law is a Pisces. You clocked that real quick. Sorry, I meant I do. Exactly. Okay, so I'm rewatching this documentary called The Century of the Self. It's in the comments somewhere. And I'm going to mention it in the next YouTube video that I do. And it basically talks about like the history of psychoanalysis and then how it was co-opted to like basically brainwash Western society into this like current state of consumerism. How like Sigmund Freud, Anna Freud, Edward Bernays, their impact, having their fingers in all the pies, controlling the narratives, blah, blah, blah. CIA, government, consumerism, corporate. So I'm up to the part where they talk about how there's these like conflicting views on like the human psyche. And Freud's view is that humans have this like inherent, uncontrollable, dark urges, and society needs to find ways to tame them. So his like suggestions and his work was very much about how governments can basically try to control populations and like how they can encourage people to essentially repress their emotions, repress their urges, okay? And then there's this other body of knowledge by some other guy, Reich or something. And he says that the human urges are not necessarily inherently bad. It's that the societal structure makes the expression of them bad. You know what I mean? So ultimately, regardless of what star sign you are an emotional being, but like each star sign deals with emotions differently, relates to their emotions differently, and the society that we live in is this like blanket across all of us that encourages emotional repression more than healthy emotional processing and expression. So I feel like everybody does that to a degree, or everyone has been conditioned to do that to a degree. But like how you would work through it would be different for each star sign or placement. You know what I mean? But yeah, encourage the Pisces to like not think of their feelings as their enemy, you know, or not think of their emotional responses as someone else's responsibility. That's kind of what I observe in the Pisces that I've known. Hi babe, thanks for joining. If you have any tea, spill it in the chat. Because yeah, I think about like some of the conflicts I've had with Pisces in my life, and like you point something out and it's not even like personal to them, but they take it really personally and then they blame you. And you're like, what the hell do I have to do with this? That's actually really interesting. I've been trying to view everything from a more neutral point of view. Yeah, so a very radical shift that I made in my perspective is also like reality is actually neutral, okay? So, and everyone is going to project their own thoughts, feelings, and values on reality. So becoming aware of like what your projection is and how that is similar or different to other people's is helpful. You don't have to no longer project because you always will, but just developing an awareness around it is important. And when you see things in a neutral way, which I talk about in my most recent video, Radical Acceptance, it doesn't mean that you approve. It doesn't mean that you justify. It doesn't mean that you excuse. It just means that you're looking at it like it is what it is, you know? Because in nature, a lion kills a deer. That's actually a neutral event, you know? But to a vegetarian, they might think that's problematic. To the deer, they might be like, what the hell? And even in like global conflicts, what we think is wrong, the other side thinks is right, you know? So the reality itself is neutral, but the meaning that people derive from it is going to be different. So I think when you can develop like an awareness of that, it just helps you to not take life so personally. Sitting in neutrality is so powerful. Yes, then it just helps you to better understand what decision you will make moving forward, you know? You got Pisces sun, so spot on, damn. Yeah, I'm not even that deep into astrology, but that's kind of the vibe that I get just based on the Pisces that I've known. You know, like one time I was friends with this Pisces girl and she was going through a really hard time, which I acknowledge and I feel bad for her, but it's also like, you're not the only person that's going through a hard time, you know? And if you can like just diffuse your awareness into understanding that, yes, my situation is shit, but like other people have been through worse, so what can I do to get through this? That's kind of like how I approach life. And she was really hung up on like being treated poorly in her previous place of employment. She couldn't stop talking about how it felt so exploitative and how fucked up all these people are and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that, but you don't work there anymore. So I think now you can sort of like think about what you can do to move on and to move out of this pain. How can you accept the pain and move forward? And then she freaked out, was like, you're saying this is my fault, blah, 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 blah. And like, I don't even know. I was like, okay, what the hell? I'm just trying to help. Like, I had literally, this was like a few months into the pandemic, which was like the worst few months of my life. So I was like, it's not a competition on who's been through worse, but I'm literally telling you, like, based on my own experience in terms of things that have been completely out of my control, that's kind of what you have to do. You know, I'm in a much better mental state because of all these things that I've suggested that you do. You don't have to do them, but you also don't have to make it seem like I said that this is your fault either. And also, you willingly stayed at that place of work when you actually didn't have to. So you need to admit to yourself that you feel like you were shorted because you gave more than you received in return. And like, you also need to take responsibility for that. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm a cusp Aries Taurus. I thought I was an Aries my entire life until a year ago, I feel lost. It's okay, just focus on living in the moment, you know? The other day, someone hit my car and left their details, so I was really happy. That's iconic. How to get over emotional abuse. Learn to nurture your inner child. Or do things for yourself that this person couldn't do. You know what I mean? And like, treat yourself as the princess and the prize that you wanted to be treated as from other people. Is this music on your Spotify playlist? I have a Spotify playlist called Summer 休假. This is on that playlist. Oh, this is the radio for that playlist. The aftermath is horrible. You're gonna be okay, babes. But it's one step at a time. Do you ever procrastinate something so long another thought of doing it makes you anxious / nervous? Yes. Many things, my dear. Many, many things. The list is endless. But you kind of just have to accept, like, okay, am I willing to put in effort into this today or not? Let's be real. And if the answer is no, then schedule a time to, like, really do it. I think sometimes it's just like, look, the deadline's not close enough yet, so I actually don't care about it as much as I thought I did. And when the urgency seeps in, that's when I'll take action. The only time I was friends with a Pisces girl was in my late teens until she cheated on her boyfriend. Oh my God. Can you elaborate on how to nurture your inner child on your everyday life? Okay. Cheated on her boyfriend on a night out. When I called it out on the spot, she spun it on me somehow, right? Pisces. How do I bite the bullet and get shit done even though the thought of it makes me nervy? Do it scared. Yes, that's great. Do you know if your friends watch your content? I don't think my friends watch my content. Some of them probably do. But my content is not for my friends because I feel like my content speaks to me, is an expression of who I was before I was able to verbalize whatever I'm talking about. So like the people in my life, I feel like are coming to similar conclusions to me in their own way. So they wouldn't really need to watch my content. You know what I mean? Like I have one class I need to enroll in and check emails for uni, but I'm ignoring all of it. Sometimes I feel like you just need to let yourself relax, like do something and be like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy not doing that thing. And then that allows the anxiety to compound to when you've stopped doing the relaxing thing and you're like, okay, now I've got to get shit done because I let myself relax, I let myself chill, I treated myself. It's time to get down to business. That's what I do sometimes. I'm just like, okay, I'm actually just really tired. Workplace made it out. I was pressed about her making out with a guy when I didn't give a fuck. Because the guy she cheated on with her boyfriend was a guy I went on a date with one time from her own workplace and made it out. Oh my God. Nurturing your inner child in everyday life. Every time you do something, Just be like, do I actually like this? Do I actually like this food? Do I actually like this job? Do I actually like this person? Do I actually like these clothes? Do I actually like living this way? Start asking yourself that question. And then slowly get in tune with your inner voice. Because I think like sometimes you just do things because it's a habit, and that it's like you don't even know where that habit came from. It's just something that you've been doing your whole life, or something you've just been doing without really questioning. You don't have to enjoy like every second of the day, but at least ask yourself, like, do I actually like this? Like, Marie Kondo your life. Does this spark joy? Does this person spark joy? Because I think we can get used to just living in a state of autopilot and like waiting for joy to come later. But joy is in the present moment, you know? Live in the moment. And then in my experience, you just naturally recalibrate, and you don't have to ask questions like, how do I spot red flags here? How do I manipulate people into doing this or that? Like, that's still important information for you to acquire, obviously. But when you're actually in something, your inner voice and your intuition will give you the answer. Your body will be able to be like, no thanks. Instead of like, how do I analyze this situation logically to figure out if this person XYZ, but you'll just kind of naturally know. Yeah, like literally just start doing things that bring you a sense of joy. And it doesn't have to be like a crazy thing. It can just be like eating things that you like that are good for your body, hanging out with people that you like, participating in a hobby that you're curious in and that you enjoy, working in a way that is just like more efficient and has healthier boundaries. You know, I think a lot of people have really unclear boundaries with their work, and that affects their personal life a lot without even realizing. Things like that, you know? Think about what your younger self enjoyed doing, and how can, like, what things did your younger self do that brought a sense of joy, and how can you integrate that into your life now? It doesn't mean you have to do the same things as when you were a child. Like, for example, when you're a kid, you really enjoyed playing with Barbies, okay? It doesn't mean that now as an adult you have to buy Barbies, but what are things in your life that give you the same feeling that you had when you played with Barbies? Maybe it's like being more intentional with your wardrobe and how you dress. Maybe it's, I don't know, like cooking, or like doing your makeup. My friend is dating a married man with kids. How would you handle this friend with grace? I don't know. Honestly, I'm trying to think if I've ever been in that situation before. I don't think I've ever known someone close to me that's dating someone that's married with children. If that's like really not your vibe, just have like a healthy distance from it. Just say like, I want you to be safe and happy, but I don't want to talk about this. I don't know, change the subject, I guess. Do you have a planner you like to use? At the moment, I'm just using my iCal, and I just printed out my habit tracker, available for free download, friendcrush.club, because it's August 1st tomorrow, guys. Let's lock in. My skin has never been this bad. I've been on a mental roller coaster. Oh my God, that's literally me, babes. Like, you can't really tell, but you kind of can. I have a pimple cluster here. It's giving me face dysmorphia, honestly. After every flop comes a slay, I'm hoping. Yes, I try to cultivate joy in a lot of different small corners of my life. And I've gotten a lot of compliments from friends saying they admire how much I celebrate life. Yes, exactly. Be creative with how you live, you know? There actually are no rules. And ask yourself, like, when you do things, like, am I doing this because I enjoy doing it this way, or because I've just been told this is the way to do it? And also, like, the more authentic you become, the more you realize it's not about being around people that are exactly the same as you. It's just about being around people that you celebrate and celebrate you. You know, like my friends and I are all like pretty different, but we just want to have a good time together. It's not about like we have to like the exact same things. Of course, there are like parallels and crossovers, but we don't have to live life the exact same way. Like, we live our own lives and then we come together and do a common thing that we can enjoy together. But it's not like everything has to be the same. And I think when I was younger, I subconsciously felt like, do I have to do everything the way that everyone else does stuff? And then I was like, well, I don't like doing it that way. And I don't want their life either. So why would I? Happy for them, but it's not for me. Can you speak about how to get through disorienting cognitive dissonance after a breakup and head noise. I think my training for a breakup podcast episode might help you. I go through like 11 different things that I would do if I was going through a breakup or a life transition. But yeah, I mean, if you've ever followed me on Instagram and watched my stories when I'm like the days that I'm online, I literally post like a crazy person. I'm like excited about this, critical about this, hate this. Just enjoy. Think of your life as performance art and you're putting on a show. Because of your being hot and having fun philosophy, I got a new job, an apartment, new mindset. Oh my God, I love that for you. That makes me so happy. Are you an iPad girly? I'm not an iPad girly, but I keep thinking about if I should get an iPad, but I did have an iPad before and I never used it, so I gave it to my mom and I don't even miss it. Like, it was literally just sitting under a pile of books. So I am thinking about getting like a smart e-reader, because my Kindle is actually very limited in functions. And then I was at Shenzhen airport the other week because I was there for work, and then Shenzhen is like the Silicon Valley of China, so they have a lot of like different gadgets and stuff that they sell at the airport that I've never seen before. And I have seen like on TikTok these like e-readers that have like pencil function and stuff, but then I literally saw they have an e-reader that has an inbuilt front and back camera, pencil, all these different apps on it. I don't think I need it to have like the front and back camera, but I am thinking about upgrading my e-reader from a Kindle, because firstly, fuck Amazon, and secondly, writing notes into the Kindle, into the e-reader, I think would be good, because I definitely don't need more iPhone adjacent screens, but I like the e-reading screen. Habits you want to keep / start. Going to bed early. That is the key habit. So yeah, it's already 10:48. I'm going to be logging off in 10 minutes to go to bed. What about you guys? Any habits you guys want to start? I need some advice. Is chasing if I initiate first? I think there's a difference between signaling and pursuing, okay? Women, I think it's okay to signal to a man that you're interested. And I think the best way that you do that is basically treat them like a bro with a little bit of light flirting. And then see if they will pursue you, okay? You could be like, talk about a restaurant you like, blah, 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 and be like, yeah, we should go sometime. And then if they pick up what you're putting down and they're like, yes, I'd love to take you there, when and where. That's you sort of like signaling and initiating and flirting and then pursuing. But you don't say to him, hey, let's go to dinner this place this time, if you want it to be romantic. You know what I mean? What star signs do you tend to gravitate towards the most? Gemini. Girl I'm seeing is still friends with her ex. He lives in a different state, but it feels weird. What do you think? I think it depends on whether you feel like the ex gets more attention than you. If her attention is more on you than the ex, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if her attention is on the ex more than you, then maybe reassess. I don't know if this is me thing or a Sagittarius thing, but do you feel like you have an individuality complex? In what sense? I don't even really know what that means. Oh, like I love this one perfume for ages. I saw it trend on TikTok and hated it immediately. In a way, I don't like things. I don't want to like something just because everybody else likes it. So I think I have an individuality complex in that sense. If I already like something and then other people start liking it, I'm just like, well, it's hard being ahead of the times, isn't it? Which is literally the story of my life. It's easy for me to divest from trend culture most of the time because I'm like, well, if everybody else has it, then why would I want it? Immediately not appealing to me to want the thing that everybody else has. Like recently, I've been thinking about if I should buy like a vintage Balenciaga city bag because I really need like a proper leather work travel bag. And I think that the city bag is very light leather and it's very easy to like throw around if you buy a vintage one. But then I'm like, is this bag overdone? I feel like everyone's got it now. So it's not even special if I have it. And I did have like a different shape that I sold, but nobody cares. So yeah, I'm still on the hunt for a bag because I'm just like, everyone else has this bag now, so like what's the point of me having it? Your IG stories are so multifaceted, makes me contemplate and laugh. Makes me contemplate and then laugh all at once. Thank you, that means so much, Mary. I feel seen. I've started strength training as a habit. I love it. I love getting stronger. Period! Do you use Etsy witches? I kind of want to start using them, lol. Unsure if I should just manifest. I don't use Etsy witches, but I have thought about doing more witchcraft study myself, you know. I think that a lot of the times it is just like the direction of your thoughts and your energy. You don't necessarily need the witch, because in reality, you're just exchanging money with the witch, which is energy, and putting intention behind that for them to direct the energy for you, you know. And I think that like the best way to harness your energy is to still just focus on yourself. Don't think too much about other people and like wanting or seeking revenge. Like everyone's karma is their personality eventually. Why do men I'm casually hooking up with get mad at me when they find out I'm doing it with other men? Because they want to feel special, babe. Didn't you know that? They want to have their cake and eat it too. I love the city bag, but I don't go anywhere where I need a big bag, lol. Yeah, but like if I'm going to the airport or if I'm traveling, I need a bag that can fit my laptop, water bottle, a snack, passport, wallet, Kindle, journal, anything I buy from duty free, headphones and like DJ stuff. If I have to go DJ, I'm building my glutes, aiming for BBL allegations with my hip thrust. Okay, I love that. That's what I want, BBL allegations. Maybe buying the bag is for manifesting. I have places to go. We're going places, yes. Yeah, I'm looking for a big bag. I have a Chloe one that I'm using, a vintage Chloe one, but it doesn't have a zip at the top. So I think a zip is important when you're on the plane so you can just like throw it on the ground. So the city bag does tick a lot of boxes. Buying a vintage one is definitely 1/10 of the price of buying a new bag. Welcome back, Queen. Thank you. You should look into the vintage Balenciaga duffel bags. I want to go to Japan to find some sexy vintage bags. I love vintage Coach. Okay, true. I actually am going to Japan end of August. So I did think about holding off on buying something until I go there and scope. I feel like price-wise, it's actually not that much more competitive there. But maybe the range will be wider. I also want to go to the warehouse vintage place in Shanghai. I just haven't been yet. It's kind of out of the way. There was also one in Shenzhen that I thought about going to, but I didn't have time. Okay, guys, look at this curry. Yummy! I'm eating so close to bedtime, but I'm hungry all the time now. Oh my god, help me. Girl, get some cunty bags, but surely thrifting eats in Shanghai. Yeah, I still prefer buying vintage online when I'm in China. I don't know why. I feel like when I'm in the store, I don't know. I don't feel as like compelled when I'm in store in China for some reason. I feel you though. I'm kind of too lazy to dig through everything, lol. Yeah, like I bought a lot of vintage from Xianyu, which is like the resale app in China. I bought this shirt actually. Hysteric glamour. Thrifting in Sydney, you get a choice of Shein or Supre. I really want to go thrifting in Japan. Slay. Yeah, I prefer thrifting in Japan, I think. Because when I'm in Japan, I'm on holiday. So I'm like, I've got all the time in the world to go through this stuff. But in Shanghai, I just feel like I should always be like doing something that's not looking through old clothes. My friend just messaged me. He wants me to go to Sydney, I think in October, because he's going to be doing a pop-up store. And he wants me to DJ. But I don't know if I'm willing to pay to go to Sydney. Real, I went to Fitzroy Markets in Melbourne and I stand dead ass had Taobao things in it. Oh my god, I would so come, but I also don't wish that upon you, but also come. I'll think about it. Let's see how my schedule is. Your food always looks bomb. You should give your recipes or something. Okay, I didn't actually make this, but I could share with you how I would make it if I was to make Japanese curry myself. It's not that hard. I just wanted to say your perspectives on dating are very refreshing. Thank you, babe. Honestly, I don't give dating advice. I just use dating as like a gateway to talk about girls focusing on being hot and having fun and decentering men. And like whether you decide to date men in the pursuit of being hot and having fun is gonna vary from person to person, you know? That's sort of something I've been thinking about while I've been spending time offline and just reflecting on the message and what I want to communicate. Because I think it got a little bit like absolutist. It became like a battle of ideologies. And I think for me, you know, spending a little bit of time offline, you realize that women aren't going to stop dating men and men aren't going to stop chasing tail. So you kind of need to think of a way to like navigate the world with that in mind, rather than thinking that like everybody has to adopt a specific worldview and only when that's achieved will we achieve progress, you know, because that's not really how it works. Will I get hosed once I finish medical school? Well, if you respect women and you learn to process your feelings and communicate, you will be guaranteed to get hosed. Good luck for the rest of med school though. That's gonna be a really big achievement. Random, I did a DNA test. I got 1% Northern China. Slay! The Dongbei baddies. Northern Chinese women are badass. Women, or at least most women, are always going to have goals with romance, but losing yourself for said goals is not worth it. Very well said. And I think that a lot of the discourse online is misinterpreted as like all or nothing. Either you're all in on dating or you're all out. And there is like a very vast and wide middle ground that you can explore that is not like absolute, you know? And I just feel like most people are not having a good time in their relationships. I probably know more people that have had bad times in their relationships than good times. Give you a chance in 20. Well, let's see how you go when you finish medical school, babe. One thing at a time. A man is not a plan. And it's not a goal. And also something like the women that I know that are in relationships and are satisfied with their life, even if they're not satisfied with their relationship, the man is like a means to an end. You know, the man is able to work with them to provide a certain standard of lifestyle, or the man is able to be a sperm donor for the baby. That was ultimately the woman's goal anyway. So I think that women who just see men as the end goal, they suffer the most in their relationships, because that's never going to get you what you want. You're never going to be happy in that way. But if you think, what can this man facilitate for me? Whether that's a baby or a house or a car, that's a much smarter way to think of it. You know, that's more like Shera 7 coded actually. Any other final thoughts before I start heading to bed like a responsible adult? Thank you for joining the live today. I've missed you all. How important do you think sex is in a relationship? I think when I was younger, I thought it was more important. Now that I'm older, I feel like as long as you have compatible sex drives, that's what's important. Not like how much you do or don't have it. You know what I mean? So like, it depends from relationship to relationship. But I think, you know, if you have a man that has like a much stronger sex drive than a woman, that will cause problems, and vice versa, actually. My friend's been dating a guy for 5 months. He hasn't put on the moves and he can't get it up. Oh my God. Well, if it's important to her, then that's probably not gonna work long term, because like, why should she have to sacrifice if it's important to her, you know? I do need to pluck this part of my eyebrow actually. He's also someone with great experience, so I'm thinking maybe he's not interested in her sexually. Okay, then why are they dating? 5 months is a long time. Who's verifying his experience? Is he seeing other people maybe? So he doesn't really have any energy left when he sees her? Is he jobless? So he's like looking for somewhere to stay. Like, I don't know. I don't know why a man that has game would put himself in a situation where he can't execute. They would usually just like dip from that situation because they were like, I would just go somewhere else where I have game. They've known each other for years. They just started dating this year. She's been in love. What? I don't know. No job, no money, no license, and deals drugs. Ding, 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 ding. Hobosexual. There you go, guys. He's got no job. He's got no money. He's got no license. And he's a street chemist. And what does your friend do? I bet she's fully employed, educated, has a car. All right. She says he'd never cheat, but I'm like, babes, diva down. I'm praying for your friend. She goes to uni and drives him around and works plus side jobs. Oh my God. He tricked her. She's in love with the mirror of herself because he probably just says nothing and agrees with her so that she feels like she's being seen. I have a male friend who is clingy but is girl-coded, so def not into me but needs validation. Okay, elaborate. He's a hobosexual. He can't get it up because he's just using your friend for free rides and accommodation. I've lost her. It's actually so insane. She's also a Pisces. Oh my God. Tips on time management. I don't know, girl. Rest. Enjoy the times that you rest so that when it's time to start working, you're like, okay, fuck. I've treated myself enough. It's time to get to business. That's what I do. I think I've aged out of the like 24/7 work mode. You know, I went on a work bender a few weeks ago. I'm still recovering. I'm out of my 20s. I've set boundaries. He keeps making pushy plans to hang out. Never takes hints. Always assumes I want to hang and study with him. Okay. Should a lady in her late 20s date a guy in his early 20s? I don't think there is like a should or should not. If you guys get along, why not? You know, just make sure that the man isn't making your life worse. Are you asking for advice on the clingy guy friend? Why doesn't he have any other guy friends? What's the issue? Like, you don't know if you should drop him or make sure he can drive or works at least, because that's too much to ask for these days, I guess. Yeah. Make sure that you are as interested in him as he is in you and vice versa, you know? I don't want to end the friendship. He clearly can't just handle minimum contact. You basically just have to slowly withdraw, you know? Because, like, say that you're busy, don't respond immediately. Because each time you respond, even if it's to say that you're not available, that's an opening for him to continue the conversation. You know, you're still available to a degree. So you just have to slowly be like, hey, I'm really sorry, I'm gonna be busy. Oh, okay, no, I'm not available. He always likes to gossip and be distracted. Yeah, and long term, that is going to rub off on you. So keep that in mind. What's better, slowly withdrawing or being upfront the next time he reaches out? A combination of both. You look tired, babe. I'm gonna hush. Love you. Hope I catch you on live again soon. Thank you for joining, babe. I am gonna go to bed soon. Maybe I should come to Sydney. Yeah, I think you need to withdraw and be like, not make yourself as available. And maybe you do need to have a conversation, but don't make it about him. Just be like, I need to focus on this right now, so I'm not going to be as available, but let's do something on this day. Okay, so like schedule something in the future so that he doesn't feel like he's lost you completely, but don't make yourself completely available in the short term so that he's like distracting you as well, you know? Does that make sense? But yeah, if you want to be focused, don't hang out with people that are distracting or living a life of distraction. Were you ever attracted to a much younger man? Not really. There are younger boys that I think are cute, but I'm not yet like, I haven't looked at younger guys and been like, oh my god, he's really cute. Compared to like the younger guy and it's like me and a friend, and the friend's like, oh my god, he's so cute, and I'm just like, yeah, he's cute, but like it depends. Okay, thank you for joining. Love you lots. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube. Stay hot and having fun, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.